First, let's dive into a traditional Japanese breakfast. If you ask a Japanese person what a typical breakfast looks like, they'll probably picture something like this. First, let's make some pickles. While many people buy pickles from the store, today we are making a quick and easy cucumber pickle. The one I'm about to make is called Asazuke, which means lightly pickled, not strongly vinegared like a lightly pickled Japanese version of salad. We'll let them sit in the fridge for a while to develop their flavor while we prepare the other dishes. Since the seeds and the area around them in cucumber can dilute the flavor of the pickle, let's remove them. I actually made a video of me making 8 different types of asazuke, lightly pickled vegetables. You should check it out if you have time. You can cut the cucumbers into any shape you like as long as they're easy to eat. Maybe I should have cut them even smaller. Now let's sprinkle a little salt and sugar over them and mix it up. After a while, you'll see some water come out of the cucumbers. I think waiting about 10 minutes will be good. While we are waiting, let's prepare the miso soup. You can put anything you like in miso soup. Vegetables, tofu, pork, it's up to you. Today I found komatsuna, Japanese mustard spinach on sale at the supermarket, so I'll use that. And I'll also add fried tofu, aburaage. If you don't have any, tofu is a good substitute. You can even make a miso soup with just vegetables. The cucumbers have released a nice amount of water, so let's make the pickle sauce. Put the rice vinegar, soy sauce, sesame oil, and sugar in the bag. And mix well. After wiping off the water from the cucumbers with a paper towel, combine them with the sauce. The rice vinegar is so refreshing and the sesame oil adds a lovely flavor. Let's put it in the fridge for 20 to 30 minutes to let the flavors melt together. Next up, a breakfast staple, Japanese rolled omelette. I like to add a little sugar to mine. Some people add a pinch of salt, some add soy sauce, and others add both soy sauce and sugar. It's really up to you. Mix it well. Actually, you don't have to mix it super thoroughly, but I wanted to break up the egg white to make it a nice yellow color, so I mix it pretty well. Heat some oil in a fry pan and pour in the egg mixture in 3 or 4 batches. Roll it up. If you need more oil, add a little more. By the way, while rolled omelets are a standard breakfast item in Japanese households, if you stay at a ryokan, traditional Japanese inn, you might get onsen tamago, hot spring eggs, instead. Have you ever tried onsen tamago? I personally prefer rolled omelets for breakfast. And next, another Japanese breakfast staple, grilled salmon. I often add a little sake when I grill it. I feel like it makes the salmon more tender and flavorful. While the salmon is grilling, let's make the miso soup. Since I'm making 2 servings today, I'll put 2 cups of water in the pot and add the fried tofu. Once it comes to a boil, add the komatsuna. 2 minutes of simmering should be enough. I've been wondering why Japanese people eat salmon for breakfast. I did some research and found out that in the old days, Japanese people avoided eating fatty foods in the morning. Since salmon has a low fat content and is mild flavored, it was considered suitable for breakfast. Additionally, salmon was really available and grilling it removed excess fat, making it a healthy choice. So it naturally became a breakfast staple. Of course, many people like bread nowadays. You don't put salmon on bread though. Most people's households have a fish grill, but I don't like cleaning it, so I just use a fry pan. If you are using fry pan, cook it over medium or low heat for 4 minutes per side. Once the komatsuna is cooked, turn off the heat and add the miso paste. I always use miso that already has dashi, so I don't add any dashi powder. If you're using miso without dashi, you can add dashi powder or make your own dashi using kombu and katsuobushi and simmer the vegetable in it. Cut the omelette and plate it. I love the combination of salmon and shiso. If you have shiso, I highly recommend trying it together. The cucumber pickle are also ready. Let's sprinkle some sesame seeds on the cucumbers. Finally, serve with rice and umeboshi. It's done! The next breakfast is a meal set that features this stuffed cabbage roll as its main dish. Do you have a similar dish in your country? Prepare the leaves by cutting the center of the cabbage in this way. This time we prepared 4 leaves. Rinse well and place in a heat-proof bowl. Then cook in the microwave. You can of course boil them in a pot. Cooked for about 3 minutes. When the cabbage is tender, let it cool. Add onions to the meat to be placed inside the cabbage. So chop them up. Place onions and meat in a bowl. The most common way to prepare this dish in Japan is to combine ground pork and ground beef. My family has been into chicken lately, so I'm going to use ground chicken today. Use your favorite kind of meat. Add salt and pepper, extra black pepper, sugar, chicken stock powder, sake, and soy sauce. When using pork or beef, nutmeg would be a good addition. Mix well. Stir the mixture like this to make sure the mixture is sticky. While the cabbage leaves are cooling, make the side dishes. Make a salad with potatoes. Once cut into pieces this large, boil them in a pot. Cut cucumber into thin slices with a slicer. It's recommended to cut it very thinly for best taste. Sprinkle salt. Mix well and wait until the cucumbers are moistened. Today we add mentaiko, spicy koro. It was frozen and left to thaw at room temperature for a bit. Mentaiko and potatoes are a perfect match. Drain the water from the potatoes and mash them lightly. Do not crush all of them today, but just enough to leave a little shape. You can enjoy the texture of the potatoes. Don't forget to include butter. Mix in the butter while the potatoes are warm. And let cool slightly before mixing in the other ingredients. Once the cucumbers have wilted, you can squeeze out the water as they are. But this time, because the koro is salty, Rinse off the saltiness from the cucumbers. Squeeze the rinsed cucumbers well with your hands. Lightly wipe off the moisture again with a paper towel. I thought the amount of cold water was a bit much, so I added a little at a time. Taste to see what the saltiness is like. It looked like I could add a little more, so I put it all in. Add a little mayonnaise for extra flavor. Please make it with Japanese mayonnaise. When the cabbage has cooled, wrap the meat. Cut the thick part of the core like this to make it thinner. This will make it easier to wrap. Place the meat in the front and roll it up like this. Today we are using 200 grams of ground meat. We will use it divided into 4 equal parts. If you put it in the pot with the seam side down, the meat inside will not come out. You could cut the cabbage leaves in half and reduce the amount of meat to make smaller sizes. Put water in the pot. Add consomme. Substitute your favorite stock powder or bouillon paste. Add ketchup. I think it will be delicious with canned tomatoes. Add Worcestershire sauce. Mirin. Sugar. And butter. Mix well. And when the butter is melted, add the cabbage rolls. Don't forget to put the seam side down. Once the water comes to boil, reduce the heat to low. Simmer for 20 minutes. If you want the cabbage to be super soft and melty, cook it longer. Occasionally, I'll cover them with soup. The last dish is daikon steak. It's very healthy yet very filling and can be served with rice or as a snack. Peel and cut the daikon into pieces about this thick. The slits are made for easy cooking and for the sauce to easily get mixed with it. Make cuts on both sides of the daikon. Place in a heat-proof bowl and cook in microwave for 4 minutes. Make the steak sauce. Put soy sauce, mirin, sake, sugar, and oyster sauce. Mix well. Garlic is another important ingredient. Slice and remove the core. I tried one of the cabbage rolls. To soften it a bit more, cook it an additional bit. It seems safe to turn it over after this point. Heat oil and garlic in a fry pan. Warm over low heat to make garlic chips. Remove from what is done, being careful not to burn it too much. There is a little too much oil, so remove some before cooking the daikon. Make sure that the oil is distributed to all the daikon. Cook over high heat to brown. Since it's softened to some extent in the microwave, it takes less time to cook in a fry pan. When nicely browned and softened, add the sauce. I made a little too much sauce, so I left some. Toast the daikon well with the sauce. Turn off the heat and add a little butter. When the butter is well mixed in, it's ready to serve. Don't forget to sprinkle the daikon sticks with garlic chips when serving. They are best when eaten together. Pour plenty of broth over the cabbage. Top with parsley. The chicken cabbage rolls were really good and the seasoning was great. Please give it a try. The next breakfast is a meal set that focuses on egg dishes, and this fluffy dish called Tenshinhan is definitely a must-try for everyone. Before making Tenshinhan, prepare a side dish using cucumbers. Unlike the cucumber Asazuke in the first recipe, this time kombu is used. Cut cucumbers into desired size. I cut them into long, thin strips like this. In some cases, the cucumbers are lightly dabbed with a stick before cutting, but even without doing so, the flavor soaked in well. Place in a plastic bag or containers and season to taste. Add salted kombu, shio kombu. If not, you can use dashi powder and salt, or just salt is fine. I got it more than I expected. I think about a tablespoon is enough. Add sesame oil, soy sauce, and just a little bit of sugar. Mix well and place in the fridge. You may make more and keep it in stock. It should be eaten in 3 to 4 days. Next, let's make a soup. I wanna use this nagaimo today. It's Chinese yam in English, I think. It can also be eaten raw. It's a little sticky and some people grate it over rice or add it to okonomiyaki. They are tasty fried like French fries and can be eaten in many ways, but today I will simply use them as an ingredient in soup. Have you ever had this type of yam? If not available, substitute potatoes. Other ingredients include onions and ham. The seasoning of today's soup is very simple and would suit any ingredient, so please use whatever vegetable you have left over in your fridge. Put all ingredients and water in a pot and bring to a boil. Since yams can be eaten raw, you may add them at the end if you want to enjoy their crunchiness. Once the onions are softened, season them. This is called consomme in Japan, really popular stock powder. It contains vegetable, chicken, and beef extract and other seasonings. Use your favorite soup stock powder or paste. Add a pinch of sugar and salt. The key is to add a little soy sauce. Finally, add a little sesame oil for aroma. It's better to add sesame oil after turning off the heat for better flavor. I tasted it and found it a little less salty, so I added more salt. I forgot to add coarsely ground pepper. Include that as well if you like. The soup became nice and thick because of the yam. Next, we will use these vegetables to make a simple side dish. The carrots are still the thick carrot that everyone often comments on. After both are cut into thin slices, fry them in oil. Stir-fried root vegetables like this are often called kimpira. Kimpira is usually seasoned with soy sauce and mirin to make it sweet and salty, but today's version is salted kimpira with a hint of salt. Add salt and pepper. Add dashi powder as well. Today I somehow decided to use kombu dashi. Add ASA powder for flavor. I thought it's the same as aonori, but this seemed to be a slightly different type and had a different flavor than the usual aonori. Aonori has a significantly better flavor, so we recommend using that. But this kimpira tasted really good anyway. Of course, it's fine with the aonori. Next, I wanna make side dish using this thick fried tofu. Thick fried tofu is richer in protein than regular tofu, as shown in other videos. This fried surface flavor is also tasty and should be tried. Cut into pieces about this size. Today I will make pork rolls with thick fried tofu, which I have been waiting to make for a long time. I actually think it tastes better made with pork belly, but I make it with loin. This is healthier. Sprinkle salt and pepper on one side of pork. Wrap the thick fried tofu like this. If you roll it up with meat like this, it will look like a big piece of meat all at once, so it may be the perfect technique for those who are on diet but want to eat a lot of meat dishes. Coat them with flour. Spread a light dusting all over the pork so that it does not flake off. Spread about 1 teaspoon of oil and cook the pork. If you dip this in butter and panko and deep fry it, it will make a great tonkatsu, I think. But today I'm going with the healthy one. Turn the roll over so that all sides are well browned. When browned, they are seasoned. Put sugar and soy sauce. It's great with additional mirin or sake, but today I made a simple version. These two seasonings alone are good because they cook down quickly and get tossed into the pork. With the extra sauce, the thick fried tofu that was not wrapped around the pork is also cooked. This alone is tasty enough to be tough steak. After this, we'll make the main dish, Tenshinhan, crab omelette on rice, but we will serve the side dishes first. The cucumbers are also well seasoned and look good. After serving the kimpira, prepare the rice. It can be served in any shape, but it's pretty when arranged like this. It's important to plate the rice like this before cooking the eggs. Today I used only 1 egg because the dish is small. In the past, when I wanted to taste plenty of eggs, I used 3 eggs per person. You can use 1 or 2 as you wish. Break up the crab sticks before mixing them in. If the amount of eggs is large, add more crab sticks. Heat oil in a well-heated fry pan and fry the eggs. Stir gently with chopsticks to make a fluffy open-faced omelette, and immediately turn off the heat. Place the egg on top of the prepared rice. And here is the important part. We will now make a refreshing yet rich and delicious sauce. Prepare a small pan or pot. Pour water. Add sake, soy sauce, sugar, potato starch, rice vinegar, chicken stock powder, and oyster sauce. Mix well. Before turning on the heat, dissolve the potato starch thoroughly. Stir well after turning on the heat to prevent the potato starch from forming lumps. By the way, this sauce is for 2 servings, so prepare 2 servings of rice and eggs before making this sauce. The sauce is cooked over high heat for 2 minutes and it's done when it's thickened like this. Finally, add a little sesame oil for aroma. It's better to add sesame oil after turning off the heat for better flavor. Immediately pour the sauce over the eggs. Sprinkle with chopped green onion to taste. This sauce is slightly sour, rich, and really tasty. It goes great with this omelette and rice. Serve the soup reheated and add the mitsuba. Which dishes look good? Not only for breakfast, but for lunch or dinner as well, right? I'll be happy if you could make it. Next up, we have a breakfast of 3 kinds of onigiri and an exceptionally delicious soup. First of all, we will prepare nutritious chicken meatball soup. Vegetables are cooked first. Lotus root is a popular fall vegetable and it's very tasty and crunchy. Since the color will darken, place them in vinegar water. Vegetable can be whatever you like. You can also add leafy greens. I mainly used root vegetables such as carrot, sweet potatoes, and daikon. Today we make miso soup, but we also use seasonings other than miso paste to give it a rich flavor. It's a recommended secret ingredient, so please don't miss it. Daikon radish in particular takes time to soften, so let it simmer for a while. By the way, we will make 3 cups of soup today. While these are simmering, make side dishes using potatoes. Potatoes can be any size you like, but they are easier to cook if they are cut into small pieces. Add onion together. Slice thinly. It's extremely tasty when garlic is added. Chop them into tiny pieces. I cut more, so half will be used later for meatballs for soup. Then we prepare the all-important ingredient, sausage. The Halloween design is cute. Let's make it about this big. Place butter in a fry pan and cook potatoes. In fact, you might want to add a little more butter. I was a little concerned about the calories and made it a little less. Cook until the surface is just slightly charred. Add the onions and fry until softened as well. When potatoes are fully cooked, add sausage and garlic. If you put garlic in first, it will burn, so it's recommended to put it in at this time. Lightly heat the sausage before seasoning. Sprinkle salt and pepper. This is what makes it so delicious. I put just a little bit of Tantan, my favorite chicken stock powder. This powder also plays a very important role in making ramen, fried rice, and so on. Check out the link to my tools and seasonings in the description section. By the way, you can substitute dash powder or other stock powders or bouillon. Finally, add a little soy sauce. This is a great side dish for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or as an accompaniment to drinks. Let's go back to making soup. I had some leftover green onions in the fridge, so I chopped these up and added them to the meatballs. You may substitute onions. Today we will use ground chicken. Add the garlic that has just been cut and left over. Also, grated ginger. The chicken stock powder Tantan introduced earlier is also added here. Add sesame oil, soy sauce, sugar, and salt. Mix well until it becomes sticky. I usually don't add garlic, but I did today. The garlic flavor and the seasoning were a great match, and I felt garlic is a must from now on. Vegetables in the soup are now tender. Make meatballs with a spoon and drop them into the boiling broth. This is optional, but maitake mushrooms are added. The chicken broth and vegetable and mushroom broth combine to create a perfect harmony. Once the meat is cooked, season the broth. Add soy sauce and oyster sauce. Adding these seasonings in addition to miso adds depth to the flavor and makes it really tasty. Finally, turn off the heat and add the miso paste. Dissolve well. The result is a perfect soup that is nutritious and yummy. The following recipe uses canned mackerel. Other types of fish can be substituted, so please try making it with your favorite fish. This water is not used. Break the fish meat by hand into pieces like this to make it easier to eat. Cover with potato starch. By the way, Japanese canned mackerel is cooked with the fish bones. The bones are also very soft and can be eaten. This will be fried later. Next, prepare the veggies for the sauce. Shred onion, carrot, and green bell pepper. It's good to have all three, but 1 or 2 types of vegetables are also fine. Fry the mackerel in oil. Fry for 3 minutes on each side. Once you put it in, do not touch it until it's time to turn it over. The surface becomes crispy, and this by itself looks yummy. You can of course make it with raw fish instead of canned. In that case, it will be better to sprinkle lightly with salt and then cover with potato starch. Leave a little oil in the pan. Then stir fry the vegetables. The bell peppers are added later to preserve the texture. Fry the peppers for 1 to 2 minutes. Then turn off the heat and add the seasonings. Rice vinegar, sugar, mirin, and soy sauce. Warm gently so that the sugar dissolves and you're done. Place the mackerel in a container and pour the sauce over it. I forgot to add chili peppers, so I added a little nanami togarashi at the end. It tastes best if you let the flavors soak in for 20 minutes before eating. Maybe you should turn the mackerel over in the middle of the process. This sweet and sour sauce goes great with fried mackerel. I love to eat this dish with rice. It can be stored in the fridge for 3 to 4 days. We can finally talk about making onigiri. I have some leftover sweet potatoes that I bought for making soup, so I will use these as ingredients for rice balls. Cut into fairly small pieces so that they are easy to put into rice balls. Stir fry with just a little sesame oil. Once cooked, season simply with sugar and soy sauce. Mix well. Next, make the scrambled eggs. This should also be finely chopped so that it's easy to put into rice balls. I added just a little sugar to these eggs, by the way. Cook the salmon with a little sake. This way the salmon will be fluffy. This is pickled daikon radish that I bought. Cut into small pieces. Mix the fried sweet potatoes you just made with the rice. I wanna add pickled daikon here. Add black sesame seeds if you have one. When you add pickled daikon, the sweet and salty flavor combine to create a wonderful taste. I did not wash the pan after frying the eggs, so they got burnt, but it was fine. The salmon was cooked for 4 minutes on each side for a total of 8 minutes. Make a salmon flake and mix it with the egg and rice. I wanted to add shiso, but I put green onion instead. White sesame seeds. This is also a tasty combination to mix with sushi rice. I like to mix in thinly sliced cucumbers when combining with sushi rice. The third rice bowl uses this salted kombu, shio kombu. Of course, you can just simply mix this with rice, but it tastes even better with this seasoning. Put sesame oil, soy sauce, sugar, and dried bonito flakes. Mix well and it's done. Wet your hands, spread a tiny bit of salt, and make a rice bowl. Add this kombu to unseasoned rice. Top with small rice. Rice with sweet potatoes and pickles is also made into rice balls. No salt is added to this. The salmon and egg rice looked a little hard to hold together, so I used plastic wrap. This fried potato and sausage dish has become my husband's favorite. I put a little topping on the top of the rice balls. The mackerel soaked up the tasty sauce very well. I hope these recipes inspire your cooking. Next breakfast is mainly a creamy and filling Tantan soup. 2 dishes using sweet potatoes and new ways to use tomatoes will also be presented. Today we will use these sweet potatoes to make mixed rice and side dish. For those to be added to rice, cut into cubes. And for the side dish, cut into stripes. Can you guys buy sweet potatoes at your local supermarket? I hope you will try this recipe. First dish I make here is sweet potato mixed rice. Wash rice well and add the required amount of water. This is 1 go of rice, 150 gram. Remove 1 tablespoon of water from here. This is because you add 1 tablespoon of sake. Then add salt and dashi powder. You may add a little soy sauce to taste. Mix well. You can do without the dashi powder. Spread diced sweet potatoes on rice. If you spread it out like this, it will cook well. Cook rice in rice cooker as usual. Next, make the first side dish. Fry shredded sweet potatoes in oil. Use any kind of oil you like. Sweet potatoes and oil go great together. I love sweet potatoes fried and tossed in a caramel-like sauce that is called daigakuimo. Today we will make it light and refreshing, not that sweet. I added a little more oil because the amount of sweet potatoes was large. When the sweet potatoes are almost cooked, season them. Put sugar, I have a lot of brown sugar left over at home, so I will use it, add mirin, and soy sauce. Not too sweet or too salty, this dish allows you to enjoy the original sweetness and goodness of sweet potatoes. This seasoning would also be delicious done with potatoes. Next, let's make the second side dish. I had some shiso left over, so I had to use it. You can do without it or substitute parsley or other greens. Cut tomatoes into small pieces. My husband always said it's better to peel the skin before cooking, but today it's too much trouble, so I just cut it as is. The canned tuna and tomatoes were really good, and I realized I love the combination. Tuna was used after the oil was drained. Put shiso leaves, salted kombu. If not, you could add dashi powder and a little salt. Add dry bonito flakes if available. Add sugar, rice vinegar, soy sauce, and sesame oil. This seasoning goes best with tomatoes and tuna. I thought it would be very tasty with pasta. Next up is today's star of the show, a creamy tantan soup with lots of ingredients. Any vegetable will go with it, so add whatever you have left over in your fridge and whatever you like. I put onion, cabbage, carrot, and later I add beef sprout too. Tofu and pork are added for protein. You can also add beans or chicken. Fried tofu is also recommended. Cut everything into bite-sized pieces and oil the pot. I use sesame oil. Lightly fry onion and carrot. When slightly cooked, add a little oil and fry the pork. Sprinkle a little salt and pepper here. When the pork is somewhat cooked, add water. Add cabbage. This is a sweet potato that could not be added to the rice earlier. Cover and simmer over low heat to cook the vegetable. In the meantime, make the soup base. Put chicken stock powder. I use somi shantan. This is my favorite one. Please check my tools and seasonings in the description section. Put sake, soy sauce, miso paste, oyster sauce, sesame paste, doubanjian, and sugar. To make a doubanjian substitute, try mixing these together. I forgot to add the garlic and ginger here and added them later. When vegetables are cooked, add bean sprout and tofu. Bean sprouts are added here because they cook in an instant. Add the sauce you just made. Mix, but be careful not to let the tofu fall apart. Add milk here. I think it will be better to add fresh ginger and garlic, but it was too much trouble, so I used these paste ones. Dissolve well and mix thoroughly. Once the bean sprouts are cooked and the milk is warmed, the dish is ready. Milk should not be boiled. I tasted it and added a little salt and pepper. It's a healthy way to get meat, tofu, and vegetables. The creamy, rich soup is as flavorful as ramen soup. This and white rice alone would already be enough for a set meal. The sweet potato rice also turned out looking really good. The sweet potatoes become soft and seem to fall apart. Mix carefully. Even though there is no sugar in the rice, it has a strong sweetness, making the rice like a dessert. Speaking of sweet potatoes, the topping is black sesame. The soup became even more perfect when I put a boiled egg on top. Top with green onions if desired. If you have rayu, chili oil, please pour it on. Highly recommend it. I think this sweet potato side dish would be perfect as a side dish when you usually make meat or fish dishes. This one is also topped with black sesame seeds. This is a tomato tuna salad that you can't stop eating. How did you like today's recipe? I hope you'll try making it. Finally, I'll introduce an energizing breakfast menu with chicken as the main ingredient, perfect for the hot summers. It's full of protein and satisfying, but we try to make it healthier. There's also super easy new version of pickled cucumber and cold soup recipes. Enjoy! Today I'm making a rice dish with protein-rich edamame as the main ingredient. I usually use frozen edamame, but today I use this delicious fresh one. This is the brown marked by the Tengu symbol. It's a specialty of Gunma Prefecture, my hometown. Wash them lightly in water. Since they have downy hairs, rub salt into them before boiling. More salt is fine, as it will be washed away with hot water later. Since the mud is large, mix thoroughly. This brand of edamame has very strong edamame aroma compared to other brands and is really tasty. I'm so happy to be able to buy edamame from my hometown in Tokyo. Put the salted edamame into boiling water. Boil for about 2.5 minutes. By the way, edamame are beans harvested when the soybeans are still green and immature. And edamame has aspects of both vegetables and beans, and while rich in protein, it's also a truly excellent source of various nutrients, including dietary fiber, vitamins, folic acid, iron, and potassium. Frozen edamame can be used, so please try to incorporate them into your diet. When slightly cooled, remove the beans from the pot. Sprinkle the remaining edamame with salt and serve as a snack, maybe for dinner. With this and beer, it's perfectly Japanese izakaya style. Next, let's make quick cucumber pickles. Cucumbers are cheap in the summer, so even if I don't need them, I end up putting them in my shopping cart. Cut it into any shape you like. Seasonings are grated ginger, chicken stock powder, sesame oil, and soy sauce. It's super easy because all you have to do is mix it in the bag. It's okay to soak them while you are making other dishes. I forgot to add the dried bonito flakes after a little while, so I added them. This can be done without. Next, chop the vegetables for the soup. My husband is pleased when the soup contains tender cooked eggplant. I had some carrot left in the fridge, so I added them too. With one really simple twist, you could make it summer ready. Use a little less water than you normally use for miso soup. Okra will be added to the soup later. Rub salt on it and leave it for a while to remove hairs. This asparagus will play an important supporting role today. It's used for the main dish later. By the way, asparagus seem to have a relatively high protein content among vegetables. After scraping off the tough root part of the asparagus, cut them into small pieces. Add tomato to the soup for color. Let the okra sit for a minute, then rinse in water and cut into bite-sized pieces. Melt a little butter in a fry pan and fry asparagus. Here the asparagus is cooked through and lightly seasoned. Put salt and pepper, garlic powder. This should be done before cooking the main dish as it needs to be cool. Once the eggplant is nice and tender, turn off the heat. Today I will make a main dish called chicken namban, chicken with vinegar and tartar sauce. First, make the tartar sauce. Add this pond sauce to make a Japanese style tartar sauce. Just a little bit of this gives it the best flavor and I really recommend it. Pond sauce can also be homemade with these ingredients, so if you have time, give it a try. Prepare one hard-boiled egg. The whites of eggs are very moist, so I wrap them in paper towel and put them in the fridge for a while beforehand. Place the egg yolk in a bowl and chop the white. Add mayonnaise. Cool the asparagus. Pond sauce. I should have mashed the egg yolk thoroughly before mixing it. I tasted it and added a little sugar. A little bit of sugar will enhance the flavor. Usually tartar sauce is made with chopped onions and pickles, right? My husband prefers not to include them, so we skip them. I put asparagus in place of those and it was even better than I expected. They add a wonderful crunch to the sauce and have a great balance of flavor. Next, let's prepare the chicken. I would have preferred to use thigh meat with skin, but to make it healthier, I use breast meat. Plus, I remove the skin. My husband doesn't like it unless it's thigh meat, but he actually wrote that this dish was really good today. Cut the chicken into pieces as desired. I cut mine thinner so that it would cook more easily. Sprinkle salt and pepper on both sides. Sprinkle a thin layer of potato starch. Usually this dish is made by coating chicken in flour, dipping it in egg, and deep frying it in oil. However, today I will only dust it with potato starch and fry it in a small amount of oil. Fry for about 3 to 4 minutes. In the meantime, make the sauce that will flavor the chicken. This is so simple. Combine soy sauce, rice vinegar, and sugar. The sour yet sweet addictive sauce is the key to this dish. The combination of this sauce and tartar sauce is the best. Turn over and fried for 2 minutes. I cut it thin and it cooked quickly. Add the sauce you just made. I like that I don't have to change pot and pan because I use so little oil. It's easy. Let the sauce simmer for about 1 minute. Then turn off the heat. Do not overcook the sauce too much. Turn off the heat and leave the chicken to marinate in the sauce as is. Even if you don't butter it well and fry it in a lot of oil, it turns out very tasty today because of the strong flavor of the sauce and the tartar sauce. Rice was cooked in a rice cooker as usual. Put salted shredded kelp, shio kombu. Tossing in sesame oil mellows out the unique seaweed flavor. Add white sesame seeds and edamame. Rice made with this edamame has the best aroma. The good smell of edamame is really strong and delicious. Combining edamame, which is an excellent vegetable and protein, with rice is a perfect meal in itself. When everything is ready, reheat the soup. Bring to a boil and add okra. Okra is ready when heated for 1 to 2 minutes. Turn off the heat and add miso paste. Don't forget the dash powder as needed. Drinking miso soup in the summer makes me sweat non-stop, so today I'll make this cold. Because I used less water, this is a very strong tasting soup. After serving the soup in bowls, add some ice here. It's better if the soup is cooled down a little before adding ice. Let's add tomatoes here. Cold miso soup with plenty of summer vegetables is a pleasant change from the usual miso soup. This chicken namban was the best I have ever made. I'll definitely make it again. Cucumber pickles were also a great success. Please try to make it. Thank you so much for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. If you are already a subscriber and would like to support our channel, please join our membership. Membership feedback will be reflected in content creation. See you in the next video.